Okay. Check, check. Check, check. Check in-house B-dubs. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1 to B-dubs. Check, check. Check, check. Check to B-dubs. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. Hello, B-dubs. What's up? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. And go a little bit louder. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Skosh louder just a little bit. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. How's this sound? That sounds good back there. Sounds good back there. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Hello and welcome live to Cat Chat at Buffalo Wild Wings. My name is Keaton Galogly, alongside head coach Brent Vegan as we get set for week 4. Coach, how we doing? How we feeling?
Doing well. Yeah, you get to Cat Chat on a Wednesday night. A lot of the work has been put in for the next opponent, and this will be a big game for us. Obviously, first conference game, coming off a tough loss. No better way to kind of get back on track than an opponent like Eastern Washington, who really is going to challenge us and playing in a challenging environment. So the guys are really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no doubt. Big Sky play is here. You guys ready for Big Sky play now? Yeah. And not an easy test going to Eastern Washington.
Quirk that put us there 2 years in a row is understandable. We're on a new cycle with one less team in the conference. We're going to play Eastern and Montana every year, and we're not going to play on the road both when we're at home. So going back there again, play against them. I mean, the red turf is one thing. They've had a good team, a consistent team for many years now. That's the bigger story. So we got to go in there and we got to take another step forward. There was some good certainly taken from last Saturday, but ultimately that
on your mind and like in your line of sight the entire game, or does it kind of recede to the background eventually?
I think it's more in prep, watching it on film. Honestly,
really?
Yeah, seeing it on the screen is the bigger deal. I think once you get out and are coaching there, or more so when you're playing there, I think it's just a field. I factors there, but
yeah.
We'll see what they wear. No, it's still 100 yards long. That 160 feet wide, and we got to go out there and play against a good team that year in and year out has been one of the top teams in our conference.
So we'll get a little deeper into that. Big guys here. We've got Justice Perkins and Sebastian Valdez joining us on this show, so that'll be fun. Hopefully they bought a few extra chicken wings in the order this week since we got the big guys coming. But that'll be fun to chat about them. And then we're going to talk a little volleyball too as well, along with Emma Penn. Yes, Emma Penn. So she'll be here as well too. So that we'll talk with them in just a little bit. Big week coming up for MSU volleyball as they get underway in Big Sky play. They're actually coincidentally taking on Eastern Washington tomorrow. So we'll talk about 10 of the nation right now in sacks at 4.5 sacks this year. Not too shabby, am I right? Yeah. And I thought it was interesting too hearing you guys talk about Sebastian coming into this season. You guys made it known you want him to be a bigger playmaker, and that's what he's been so far. Why did you think he could handle that type of expectation coming into the year?
Well, as a freshman last year, he made plays. He was a starter for a good chunk of the season. And I think what we tasked him is take your game another step, and he was able to put on at least. And I think with much as he played as well as he played last year, there's obviously the confidence, but there's that experience too. So he's continuing to grow with all the nuances of playing in the D line. It's not as it's more to be reckoned with, and will be for many years here.
So did you feel like was it more about just putting on that weight, getting a little bit stronger, or was it more on the technique side? Like which one was a little bit more that you felt he needed to add on to be the playmaker we've seen for the first 3 weeks?
I was probably both. I think just becoming weeks into the season, it really took hold, but he was, like I said before, he was giving up some weight. So I think it was probably more the continued growth, but I think continuing to learn his craft and, I think for us, that position that he plays, we're playing good defense.
Give us a little insight on that technique. I don't think many people truly know a lot about defensive lineman technique. So just give us one little aspect of technique that he uses that he really excels at.
Your hands, hand placement. You've probably heard it. Low pad wins. If you can get your hands on an offensive lineman quicker and faster than they get them on you, I mean, it's really as simple as that. And he's got the ability, got all the different tools, I suppose, that you utilize with your hands, the different moves. And I coached offense, but at least I know what it looks like when a guy's good and can get after a quarterback, and that's what he can do.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll be sure to ask Sebastian about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was. I think it was hard to measure this complete performance, but we came out our first possession and answered them, and answered them mostly on the ground in a variety of ways. But it was our guys up front leading the way. And then our next possession, we came as less than ideal. Ideally, we'd have twice that many plays. Ideally, we'd be able to establish ourselves much more. But against a good front, I think Oregon State's got a good front on the defensive side. I thought our guys held their own. It was a game where we felt like we had overwhelmed physically on either side of the football.
Justice Perkins is one of the guys who's going to be joining us, and obviously he's the center. He's going to be the middleman in that offensive line. What have you seen out of Justice this year in terms of his leadership and trying to bring a little cohesiveness to so many new faces on that line? So,
in a relatively experienced group, and he played really well, and now that kind of flipped for him. He's a one returning starter that played all our games last year, and with that comes the experience. I think that group has to really perform as one, but it's indicating calls and stuff like that on the football field. But it's in the meeting room, it's on the sideline during a game. The guy, kind of the calming force, and I think that does come with your experience. And I think he's definitely taken on that leadership role, even though himself he's only just his leadership.
So one of the other exciting stats that we've got right now, Sean Chambers, he's got 7 rushing touchdowns already. That's tied for first in the nation. So not too shabby from Sean Chambers, who's really just been kind of your red zone wildcat.
We scored from distance quite a bit, but inside the 10, inside the 15, we had our fair share of issues just putting the ball in the end zone. Blake kicked a lot of field goals last year, and that was an area we wanted to clean up. And part of it was, I think we got, but looking at the big picture of not wanting to run him so much, having Sean and having a bigger guy. Sean's probably got 25, 30 pounds on Tommy. So, what's required down there, some of that, because, typically what happens down there in tight is the defense tries to gain numbers, and by running the quarterback, we get a number back as far as our matchups go, and so far so good as far as that goes.
Yeah, it's been fun watching him play, although I'm sure you're excited to get a
back in the practice field this week. He's not going to play this particular game, but I do think getting back in the swing of things, he'll be 3 weeks out when we get in the middle of the week next week, so I do feel like there's a real opportunity for him to play next week. More than the 2 carries I think he ultimately got. So he's going to be getting better and better, and we get Lane back. Ultimately we will get Isaiah back at a later date. So it's coming together. Garrett Kuhn was back and doing some stuff with us too. So
we're first, is that right?
Now he'll play in the October 8th game.
October 8th, that's what it is.
The Idaho
Okay.
State game. So yeah, we'll get him back. Yeah, so it's this is part of it for different reasons through the course of a football season. You're gonna miss guys, and you need guys to step in and speed. It's not always as perfect as that sounds, but we're doing the best we can at that running back position to be as creative as we can in the midst of this turmoil, I guess. We'll see how that goes this Saturday, but.
Stand in the Oregon State game. I mean, there was some really tremendously creative plays that you guys had with guys coming around. You're passing the ball around 2-3 touches before it even crosses the line of scrimmage. Bring us inside a little bit, obviously without giving up too much information, but just where did a lot of that come from? Like, what we
talked about it. That's all those runs are within the function of our offense. Now, who's running and who's getting the ball? Is it another quarterback? Is it a receiver? I think then what you got to look at is what are those guys capable of doing? Who's capable of running, say, between the tackles? Everything kind of, it does fall within the framework of what we do. So our offensive line, our tight ends aren't learning new plays. It's just looking different to the outside world. And if we can find a way to advance the ball down the field, that's all that matters. So 3 receivers only had 3 carries. And I think our intention was for our receivers to carry the ball more. We'll see how this game kind of flows, but ideally we can spread the ball around a little bit more. Our quarterbacks aren't so heavy when it comes to the carries that we have.
That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on the air for that at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit of volleyball, and then we're going to talk with Sebastian Valdez and Justice Perkins later as well, and then we'll get a true kind of pre and accessories for all your game day needs. Shop in-store at their 7th Avenue location or online at shop.msubobcats.com. Go Cats! All right, we'll take a break. This is Cat Chat from Learfield. Okay, we're giving away. You guys are good. You can come up, sit here. All right, we're giving away some things. I do actually text and scroll Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. So that way you won't miss out on any of your notifications because I know you guys got too many unread messages. So the gloves will no longer be an excuse. All right, last 4 numbers. 6. All right. and sport opportunities for people with disabilities and young people impacted by cancer, and to provide support for families of participants so that they shall mount up with wings as eagles. All right, a great opportunity now to talk a little bit of volleyball. Welcome to our first Cat Chat. We're going to have you guys on this week, and Cole, we'll have you back again next week because that big old Cat Grizz game is coming up on September 30th. Yep. And that's going to be at the field house, too. You guys excited to play at the Brick?
Oh, yeah. The court's down, and you're already talking
20 years ago was the last time.
Yeah.
Okay. It does feel like around the country, volleyball is doing a little bit more. They're getting into some of these bigger facilities. I think Florida this last week had like 16,000 down in Florida for a matchup against Wisconsin. And it does seem like some of these places are getting some bigger spots.
Yeah, athletes, and they can do a lot of things. So.
Yeah, it does feel. Do you guys feel like the game has been growing over your time, Emma? From your perspective as a student athlete, your fourth year at the D1 level, do you feel like the game is growing a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think volleyball is getting a lot more recognition than I remember my freshman year. So I think preseason has been really good, but we're ready to start conference for sure.
All right. So Cole, from your perspective, how has the start of the season been? What are some of the things you guys have grown in, and where do you kind of feel like you guys are right now?
Yeah, so we've had some COVID cases, we had some injuries, and I think this team has been healthier now, and we're really ready to go. So.
Well, you guys have played a lot of 5-set matches too, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Emma, does that feel like that kind of battle tests you guys a little bit more too?
Yeah, totally. I think the Boise State match, if you guys were there, I mean, that just showed
your map when you were going through your recruiting.
Yeah, so I was a senior. I was pretty late in the recruitment process, and Cole was the one who recruited me. And I think what really sold me was the community here at Montana State and the Bozeman community and how much they showed up for us for our games. And yeah.
And Cole, what did you
find off of one leg? And I had the very first phone call, I actually really remember it. She was talking to me for 45 minutes, and I'm like, well, she can talk. So, yeah, so Emma's been really great to have, and yeah.
Do you think she was going to grow? Yeah, Emma, what was it like? Obviously you fell in love with Montana State, but if you were late in the recruiting process, was there any question in your mind about what you were going to do after high school as a volleyball player, or how you wanted to continue your career?
Yeah, I'm serious. I took a break, and I was like, there's no way I can't play volleyball. But yeah, once Montana State came on the radar, there was no question that this is where I wanted to end up.
Yeah, had you really taken much of a break? I feel like when you think about today's athlete, especially at Division I level.
No. Our longest breaks were probably like 2 weeks in between club season and school season.
Right. So Cole, do you see when you're out on the recruiting trail? Do you see a little bit of burnout, especially because you guys have an indoor sport, so you can play year round without.
Community, we give them days off now so that they can just really refresh and focus on their academics. And days off are great. Their bodies get to rest and. Yeah, it's evolving, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like the pendulum's starting to kind of swim up tomorrow night right here at home in Bozeman. So give us a little scouting report, Cole. What are you looking for out of this matchup against Eastern Washington tomorrow night?
Yeah, I really like our matchup. We're more physical than them at the net, so so we just need to play Bobcat volleyball and just be ready to battle.
Do they have a red floor over there for their home court like they do for football?
Just the red outlining.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if it was an epidemic over there.
Yeah.
Make them play volleyball. We've talked about that a lot in Scout. Just if we make them play the game, then we'll end up with the win because we play the volleyball better than them. So. Yeah,
interesting you mentioned that, whether be aggressive or let them play. Can you expand on that a little bit? What does that mean? How do you find the line between being aggressive and...
Let them play the ball so we can continue the rally, and it's just a gut instinct that you have to learn over time. If you see the swing, you take it, and if you don't see it, you place the ball where they're not.
Right, so not going over the top, make them make the error kind of situation.
Yep.
So much for coming up, and don't forget the Cat Grizz game on September 30th over at the Fieldhouse. We're going to go set a new Big Sky attendance record in that game. That's the goal. So appreciate you guys spending some time.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Go Cats.
Go Cats, go. That is Wild Wings. We'll take a break. This is Cat Chat from Learfield. Awesome. All right. We're giving away some more stuff. Sebastian, you're up next, my guy. Right here. All right, we have a Yeti Bobcat situation. I think it'll keep things warm and cold depending on the port of the season. So we got our Yeti mug. All right, here we go. Last four numbers. 6438. 6438. Ding, there it is. Welcome back to Cat Chat at Buffalo Wild Wings. Before we visit with Sebastian. I'm Caden Galogly alongside Sebastian Valdez at Buffalo Wild Wings for Catch. Wet, windy, rain, or would you rather it be all sloppy out on the field?
Oh, man, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
How many sloppy games did you get down in SoCal when you were a high school player?
I'll say one.
Maybe one?
It was raining.
That was
yeah.
it? Was it on one of the art? Yeah.
Not much.
Pretty true turf.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into some things. So here you are, sophomore year, getting the start, moved into the middle. First of all, I mean, just how do you feel like the start of the season's been for you?
Good. I'd say surprisingly.
Which is good for 10th in the nation, so that's not too shabby at this point. What were some of the things you did this offseason that felt like it got you going?
I mean, me and Coach Howell, we made a list of things I had to get better at. Mm-hmm. That included I incorporated all those three things into my summer routine, and I feel like that has helped me grow so much, especially for this season.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a lot. I mean, shoot, if you're trying to put on weight while you're doing all that weightlifting, how many calories you got to eat a day?
Oh man, I didn't count them, but I'm sure.
What was your go-to? What's your big, hearty, caloric meal? Your favorite?
Definitely start with a big breakfast, which was like oatmeal, 4 eggs, egg whites, turkey bacon, and a protein shake.
How long does it take you to eat? I feel like you're trying to cook, or are you getting that a lot from the university?
It was a combination of both.
Okay. Yeah, because you got to cook 4,000 calories, and you got to go work out, and you got to actually eat it. I mean, that's half your day.
Yeah, definitely a chore.
Well, take me back a little bit.
It was in June. I came for my unofficial, and I came to a summer camp.
Before your senior year?
Before my senior year.
Of high school, okay.
Yeah. I came for it was entering my senior year.
Right.
And I came for a football camp.
Dude, you get offered when you show up on campus. You got to have something to show for it, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And you were high school teammates with Blake Schmidt, correct? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when did he commit to Montana State? I mean, what was the timeline? How much earlier had he committed, and did you know?
I think he committed before senior year.
Okay, his senior year?
Yeah, his senior year. And, when he left, I mean, he was a big factor of me coming here as well.
Was he?
I messaged him, and I said, like, how are things? Do you really enjoy it?
Yeah.
And he gave me all the tools and took time.
What were some of the things, do you remember, that he was telling you about Montana State? What were some of the unique things about this place that he told you?
Yeah, I mean, he said football's completely different. It's something.
Yeah, big jump.
Yeah, something you have to invest your time in, but it's a great time, and the people here are great. And I went to not a very big school compared in California.
Right.
Compared to all the other schools. But when I got here, I mean, yeah, you could definitely tell the difference by the crowd noise and everything.
Right. What, having a hard time communicating?
I mean, kind of, but it's a good feeling that you know that you have that loud crowd and gives you that little bit of adrenaline knowing you have to make a play.
Yeah. Do you ever see some of the opposing quarterbacks here start to like? So you hear that? You do have an actual impact when you're at the games. We heard it here. He watches them. Tell me a little bit about some of the maybe guys at the NFL you like to watch.
For my position?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it definitely has correlation, and Aaron Donald, Von Miller, even though he's an edge. Adama Kinsu. A lot of players.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you look for out of what, like when you're watching tape, what are some?
And how well they do everything and how detailed it is.
Right.
Definitely like shows that you don't have to go all crazy and be uncontrolled. So, yeah, and how to play different blocks and stuff.
Right. So give us an idea. I mean, what do you mean by different blocks? I think a lot of people wouldn't understand specific.
Depends on how if an offensive lineman like oversets you, gets over the top, how to play that when you have a target or a landmark to get to, or if you have a zone block to you, how to defeat it, how to own your gap. I guess it's always good to have like different
Instant reaction.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen before the play, so it's all about reading your keys and reaction to what they're doing. So in your mind, you can see this play a million times, and then in the game, you might get a different look. It's all about reacting. You just have to adjust.
Now, one of the looks you're in a little bit. Tell us what it's like going up against your own guys in practice. What's this offensive line like?
It's amazing. I mean, these guys are very explosive. They're very good, and it's always good to compete against those guys. I know we're making each other better, and at the end of the day, we're years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, not that we hate each other, but it's an offensive, defensive competition every day. But I love those guys, and we make each other better every day.
Yeah, you're in the inside just like Justice Perkins is at center. So how often are you guys punching each other in the chest in practice? Right. Yeah, Brent was kind of talking about that a little bit too. I mean, what's the key for you to make sure that you're the low man in some of those one-on-one battles?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just acknowledging the block and just realizing you can't be too high.
A couple of thoughts, what's Eastern Washington like? Just a couple of things that maybe fans should be looking for on Saturday.
Yeah, man, I mean, they're a good team. They're a solid team. They have a few returners returning, and they have a good quarterback. They're a good, solid team up front. But it's going to
take a break. When we get back, we will have Justice Perkins joining the show. Universal Athletic has been a proud supporter of Bobcat Athletics for over 45 years. Check out their great selection of Bobcat apparel and accessories for all your game day needs. Go Cats. All right. There's definitely not enough MSU gear in here, so it's a good thing we got some more money for everybody. All right, last four numbers. Are you ready? 6434. There it is. Wow, you were ready. You were looking right down, and you had it. 64. Welcome back to Cat Chat. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings. My name is Keaton Gillogly, joined now by the Bobcats center, Justice Perkins. Justice, how we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Keaton?
I'm feeling good. We got another beautiful crowd. It's getting sloppy outside, so it's
into it is just as important. But this has some meaning to it. You know, we want to be Big Sky champions, so this is when all the work starts to pay off.
Ready to rock and roll. So first of all, I mean, let's just talk a little bit about your offensive line. You're the center. You're the old man.
You know, we had a lot of doubters coming in, so we let that motivate us all in the offseason, winter, spring, and even in the summer. So, you know, we definitely want to prove the people who doubted us wrong. And, you know, but we have a great group of guys. You know, I love the two to the left, two to the right, the whole room, honestly.
Higher offensive line here. They're not here. Are you feeling a little like nervous or like naked with them out of them?
No, I did. Vega texted me. He's like, "Yeah, could you do that?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll just bite the bullet on this one. I'll go."
But you did bring the brothers here.
Yep. Both Jay and Jaren, and then the youngest JJ. Hopefully, he's here. Hopefully, another football player in the making.
We can't see him yet. He's not big enough.
Yeah, he'll get there. The Perkins will kick it. Hopefully.
And pretty cool. How surreal is it that all three of you guys are here wearing the blue and gold of the Bobcats?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. You know, that was one of my goals coming out of high school is do enough at Montana State so that when their senior year came around, they'd have an opportunity. Seeing them to the left or right, it's like I have to like wipe my eyes a couple times to make sure I'm seeing right. But yeah, even out there on the practice field, it's like it was my first chance to play with them because we were always at that awkward age distance where like they couldn't play up, I couldn't play down. So this is my first. He didn't have to pay for our food anymore. That's my mom had to make no more meals. Their rooms are clean for once. All of that. No more sneaky household. But no. Everyone was excited, super excited.
Yeah.
Forced sports on me. He let me find it. He let me grow into it. He, you know, obviously if I had questions about football, he'd answer them and whatnot. But he wasn't like, oh, you're gonna be a football player, you're gonna be a Montana State. He let me grow into my own person, and then I did choose the football path. And then yeah, he had my support. Whatever your decision, even if I didn't play football, he was gonna be proud of me. And that was just having that, knowing that is just super comforting.
What do you remember about going to games as a kid at Bobcat Stadium?
Oh yeah, no, like the 2012s, the early decade. Well, I can't even talk right. Watching it, the bright lights and everything. You know, the gold rushes I'd go to, and then, you know, I started getting older. I was like, okay, yeah, that'd be cool to play there. The next, you know, before I knew it, it was September or whatever, and then I'm playing in it. So I was like, oh my goodness.
Now you're the starting center.
Exactly, yeah.
Volume's a little bit different, but
yeah,
I don't know, does one come to top of mind?
Yeah, it was my true freshman year, 2019. I suited up for Cat Grizz, and then I remember it was like third quarter, I want to say, and Braden Conkle got a pick, and I was just that.
And now you have for a season that's got nothing but sellouts in our future as we get into Big Sky play, which is pretty fun and pretty exciting. Well, take us back a little bit to your recruitment. You came here as a walk-on after exploring all of your options. Why? Why did it all?
Area recruiting me, and then Coach Tafale was the old offensive line coach here, and like he always liked me. Like Bozeman High would always come to the football camps here, and you know, he'd always like me. He always talked to me and whatnot. And then eventually, I didn't want to leave it out to, oh, what if I did go to Montana State? Like, what if something did turn out right for me, which it did. So I was just like, yeah, you know, I'll take the role that it is as being a walk-on coming out of Bozeman High. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I hate trying to explain to people how old I am. I think like, yeah, I think I'm a redshirt freshman, or it's somewhere around there. I'm a redshirt something.
Yeah, the COVID years have everything all twisted up. Have doubts that you can hang at this D1 level in the Big Sky?
Yeah, 100%. I think that first freshman fall camp, everyone, no matter what, has their doubts, because it's like these guys are bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they know the playbook better. And it's like you're drinking out of a fire hose for like a good 4 weeks. High school, so I was getting tossed around by like Chase Benson and Derek Marks, and I'm like, man, it just seemed like it was so far away. But then I remember it. I was sitting there, and like all the freshmen are feeling it, like, oh, did I make the right decision coming here? But then Coach Joe had a meeting. We had a team meeting, and he was like talking about the transfer portal. Like, you can take the easy way out, I guess, and transfer, or you can try to bury in and try to make something where you're at. So I was like, yeah, I'm committed here. I'm going to stay no matter what happens, whatever cards I'm dealt. You get what you get in the short run, but you get what you deserve in the long.
Yeah, Ty quoted that specifically when he was here last week, because one of the things we have been talking about is why. Why have so many guys been here, waited their turn, specifically in the transfer? That was at the end of your freshman year, like your true freshman year, or in the middle of it, or?
Yeah, I was like right in the middle of it during that season. I was just like, man, I'm getting beat up. Like, do I even like football anymore? But yeah, no, I was like, yeah, I have to. I chose to come here to Montana State.
Too? I mean, is that just kind of one of the things that freshmen have to deal with?
Yeah, it's kind of unknown until someone brings it up. I remember sitting in Miller, and I was with Marcus Rear, who was a defensive lineman at the time,
Right.
and like Blake Thielen, and we were just eating there because we have to eat a bunch, too, because I was like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this right now.
Right, and now here we are.
Yep, here we are.
Okay, I got to ask you, too, what are your go-to high-caloric foods? Sebastian gave us his. I mean,
Oh man, breakfast. There does a great job of giving us a meal plan of what we have to eat per day, especially because we lose so much during practice. That's the biggest thing that people forget. We lose so much during practice. That's like some people. That's like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories gone right there in practice that you have to make up and then add on. Yeah, I'm entering. So this is so I have a fall and then spring. So I graduate next spring. So it's crazy how quick time has gone by. But I'm super excited. And yeah, just bearing down, getting into my schedule. I finally found my schedule.
any business ideas yet?
Nah, yeah, that's down the road.
All right, okay.
I'll focus on Eastern Washington first.
Yeah, we don't want to let anybody know those business ideas. It's going to be a few years.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get them stolen yet.
All right, finally, we got it from Sebastian, but give us a couple of things to look for.
Their defensive line, there's all returning starters. So it's gonna be a great test for us, really, to see if our young offensive line can compete in Big Sky football. So that's obviously gonna be something to watch. I think our offense is gonna be pretty. Yeah, thank you, Keaton.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more of Cat Chat presented by Learfield after this. Welcome back one final time to Cat Chat. We're to providing quality adaptive recreation and sport opportunities for people with disabilities and young people impacted by cancer, as well as those that provide support for families of participants so that they shall mount up with wings as eagles. All right, here we go. Big Sky play starting on Saturday. We can finally off, but we got 2 o'clock kickoff, 1 o'clock we will be on the air against Eastern Washington. So let's look ahead to this next opponent presented by Vance Thompson Vision. And Coach, obviously Eastern Washington looking a little bit different coming in this year. Eric Barrier has graduation, but they've brought in a new quarterback in Gunnar Talkington, a 6th-year kid who grew up in the Portland area. And he's already been named Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week once this week. So what are some of the keys and things you're looking for in this game against Eastern Washington?
Well, like any game, we got to make. I think plays a style similar to Barrier, but doesn't have the wealth of experience that Barrier had. He wants to extend plays, run around. There's some design runs that are part of their deal. They've prided themselves for a long, long time in being able to score points, national accolades like he did. So, it's early in his time on the field, even though he's a 6-year guy. So he's obviously been around there, has learned from sitting behind a very good player that really drove that thing for them. We got to make them as one-dimensional as we can, and I think we got to be a little more aggressive in getting after him, and then in our coverage than we were last Saturday.
On the defensive side for them, they've got a couple of all Big Sky returners on the defensive line. Joshua Jerome.
Player, I think those two are definitely the guys that have our attention the most up front. But what they've done over time, I think they've gotten faster and faster. So really a defense built around team speed, whether that's in the back end or the linebackers. And then Jerome maybe in particular. We see a lot of different defenses in our conference, some that are multiple fronts and multiple coverages. I would say they're a little bit more. They lock into a four-man front, play different coverages, but I think they're going to be where we think they're going to be by and large, and it comes down to just that for the most part on offense, and we're going to have to do that and keep improving as far as that goes.
Well, here we go. So that was our look at the next opponent presented by Vance Thompson Vision. So Big Sky play is on tap, 2 o'clock on Saturday at Eastern Washington. You can tune in at 1 o'clock. I thank Cole Ayazi and Emma Pence from Volleyball joining us as well. And, of course, head coach Brent Vegan and all of Cat Country that's here each and every week winning all the good goodies. So if you want to win some Bobcat gear, come out to Buffalo Wild Wings every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. All right, we'll talk again on Saturday. Until then, go Cats, go!